Hello, my name is Laney Shaughnessy and welcome to this Digital Woodcarver quick tutorial. In this video, I'm going to simply show you how to add a new tool to your Vectric Tool Database. Now, we're going to add two types of tools because there are two different ways of adding tools to a tool database. If we're adding a regular general tool such as an end mill, a V-bit, a tapered ball nose, then we can simply enter in the parameters of the tool and add that to our tool database very simply. If it is a form tool, and a form tool is defined as a tool that has a special profile. It could be a roundover, a core box router bit. It could be an OG bit, something with that special profile. Then we have to add it a specific way. We actually have to draw half of the profile to scale in order to add it to our tool database. So I'm going to walk you through the process of adding both types of tools, and this should help you with any additional tools that you want to add to your tool database in the future, as long as you understand which type requires you to draw the profile and which type can just be entered in. All right, so let's take a look at our tool database. I'm just going to go up to Toolpaths and Tool Database in the software. And in the tool database, we're going to either choose a category, if there's a particular category that's already created in your general Digital Woodcarver tool library. If there's a specific bit that we're adding to that tool library, then we can go straight to the category and add a new tool under that category. Or if it's a completely new category, we can create a new category first and then create the tool or add the tool. So in this instance, we're just going to start off with adding an end mill. So I'm going to come over to the list of tools and I'm going to find the category for end mill here. And then I'm going to click on add new tool. Now by default, Vectric, when it opens up the new tool parameter window, it always defaults to the tool type of a ball nose, and we have a drop-down menu. And of the tools, if it's a ball nose, an end mill, which we're adding, a radius end mill, a V-bit, an engraving bit, a tapered ball nose, a drill bit, a diamond drag bit, a thread mill, a multi-thread mill, a laser cutter, or a form tool, and that form tool is the one with the special profile, we have to choose the correct category before we add in the parameters. In this case, as I said, we're adding an end mill. So we're going to select end mill, and in the geometry that we need to add in, we're either adding it in as inches or millimeters, depending on what you're working in, and I'm working in inches. So the diameter, we're going to do a diameter of 3/4 of an inch. So that's a 3/4 inch end mill. And the number of flutes, it is a 2-flute end mill. And now it's going to ask if we want to copy settings from another tool in our tool library. So we can actually choose a tool that might fit the parameters close to get us started and everything, or we can create our own tools, but it wants us to choose one. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to choose the 1/4 inch end mill from the list here, and I'm going to hit copy. And what that's going to do is it's going to fill in the tool with the basic parameters and everything. Now, we are on a DWC 3648 in my example, in this example here. So this is one of our high definition units, and the parameters are going to be more accustomed to those type of machines, the 2636, 3648, 4848, or 5100. Now, if you have any other CNC machine like the Mini Carver or the 2440, you're going to adjust the parameters accordingly. There will be some variances depending on the machine, built based on the, the build of the machine and things like that. All right, so for this 3/4 inch end mill, it is a 2-flute. The pass depth, I am going to set the pass depth to cut at a depth of 1/4 of an inch per pass. And the step over for the end mills, generally end mills are going to be about a 40% step over. You can adjust your step over accordingly, but this is going to be a 40% step over. And we're going to run this at about 14,000 RPMs. We'll set this at 14,000. This will get us started, but we're going to be observing and listening and watching the cut as we're working with that tool on the machine. And if we need to make any adjustments to the speeds or the feeds, the RPMs of the router bit or the feed rate of that bit through the material, then we can do that. But this is where we're going to start. We're going to be at 14,000 RPMs. I will make a side note. Most all of your bits, there will really be no reason for them to be over 18,000 RPMs. So it would probably be 18,000 or less, depending on its size and things like that. But we're going to go 14,000 RPMs. For that 3/4 inch end mill, I am going to run that, not conservatively, but I'm going to run that a little bit until I get used to it. It'll be the first time running this new bit, and I want to see how it performs in the different materials. So I'm going to set it to a RPM or a feed rate of 85 inches per minute, and then a plunge rate of 42 inches per minute. The plunge rate is generally going to be half of the feed rate or less. So if I have a 100-inch a minute feed rate, then my plunge rate will generally be 50 inches per minute or less. And if you are doing 3D type carvings and finish cuts, then you can actually make your plunge rate and your feed rate match each other, because plunge doesn't play a role in those particular type of cuts. But that's getting a little bit more advanced and talking about things that, besides just how to add a tool. Those are things that you'll learn as time goes on. So this will be the settings for this end mill, and I'm going to come up here, and if I need to change the name of this to a specific brand or tool name or a tool number or anything, I can do that here. Make sure if you do edit the tool name, it's very important that you uncheck the set as default for end mill, because if you leave that checked when you click OK on that change, every time you add an end mill, it's going to default to that name for the end mill and everything. So we want to make sure that we uncheck that, and you would make that change. Now, I'm not going to make any change. I'm just going to leave it as my end mill, 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cancel that out, and I'm simply going to just hit apply. We will now see in our end mills here that we have that as set to end mill 3/4 of an inch. We can click OK at that point, close out of the tool database, and we've just added that tool. Okay, very simple. So if it's an end mill, if it's a tapered ball nose, if it's a V bit, we simply need to enter in the parameters, and that is all. We don't have to draw any special profiles or anything like that. All right, so for the second tool, it is going to be a form tool. And for the tool, we are going to choose to add in the white side 2050 1/8 inch router bit. And most tool manufacturers will give you some parameters to work from. Now, if I were to go into here and open up this image, we can see a little bit better close-up of this image. This image has an overall diameter of 3/8 of an inch. It has a radius of 1/8 of an inch. And it has, from the top of the round over to the bottom of the bit, it has an overall pattern length of 1/4 of an inch. And if we were to look at the parameters here, we can see the large diameter for this bit is 3/8 of an inch. The small diameter at the tip of the bit is 1/8. The radius is 1/8. The pattern length is 1/4. And the shank is 1/4. So that gives us all the information we need to draw out the profile of this bit. And when we draw this profile, we're specifically drawing the right half of the profile to scale. So in our Vectric software, we will come in, and I'll just use the rectangle tool to start off with. For the rectangle tool, we're going to have an internal radius of 1/8 of an inch. I'll just make it 3/8 of an inch wide and a 1/2 inch tall for now. I'm just going to click my mouse over here to create this general shape. And what we want to do now is we're going to go into node editing. It's one of the features for editing objects and everything. And we're going to edit the nodes. And here, I'm just going to cut it at this halfway line here. And I'm going to cut it at this halfway line here. And then I'm going to delete that remaining part. Now, on this particular round over here, if I were to measure this, if I did a horizontal measurement from the inside of the round over to the outside edge of the bit, we have an 1/8 inch, okay? And if I were to measure the height from here to here, we also have an 1/8 inch. Now, we know from the geometry of the bit specifications and everything that from the top of the round over to the bottom of the bit, it is a 1/4 of an inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into node editing once again. I'm simply going to click on this node, right click on this node, and I'm going to cut the vector here. And then I'm going to be able to select this vector and move it down. Now this is already an 1/8 of an inch from the top of the round over here, so I simply need to move this in a relative distance down negative 0.125, another 1/8 of an inch. And then if I select both of these objects, I can join them with a straight line to close that off and everything. Now we have, once again, if we measure vertically from here to the top of the round over, we have that 1/4 of an inch height. That's exactly what we need. That 1/8 inch radius, 1/8 inch internal distance, and then our 1/4 inch length. Now, overall, it needs to be 3/8 of an inch. So this represents the right half of the router bit. If I were to measure the distance from the left edge of this profile vector here to here, we should be at 3/16, because when this doubles automatically, when it gets added and everything, it should be that 3/8 of an inch. So wonderful. So this is exactly drawn out, exactly how it needs to be. The only thing that we need to do is make sure that it's joined as one vector, and it is. It is one single vector. All the lines, even the extension, everything is all connected together. So now we can add this to the tool database. So if we have this selected, you always have to have your profile selected before you open the tool database. And by the way, I'm opening the tool database from the toolpath tool database menu here, but we can also, on the toolpath side of the software, we can also open the tool database here, these icon right here, to get to our tool database. Okay. Now, before we open the tool database, like I said, we want to have the vector selected. And what I'll do is I'll move this over to the left here. But we want to have the vector selected before the tool database opens. That way it knows that we're going to be adding this specific profile. So here we're going to go down to our form tools. And in the form tool, we're going to click on add a new tool. This is going to be a form tool. And notice what happened here. It automatically it mirrored the profile and created the full parameter, and it automatically added in the diameter. Okay. And so that is completely added in. So now this is a 2 flute. And on the settings here, on the round over, I want to make sure that I round over at the full depth, make a full depth of cut. So the pass depth is going to be 1/4 of an inch. And the step over is going to be 1/8 of an inch. I want to step over 1/8 of an inch. So this could basically, you could call it 33.3%, which is, 0.1249. That's, rounded up, 0.125. But if I, add in that extra 3, it's there. So that 0.125, we're going to click apply. And for this bit, I am going to run it at 18,000 RPMs. We will plunge it. I'm going to go 75 and 32. 37, how about that? And then we will go ahead and come up here and I'm going to edit the name. So this time I'm going to make sure I uncheck this. It's going to be a white side 2050 0.125 round over. We'll click OK, and that will add that tool to the, let me edit that name. I have a / instead of a period here. Period, there we go. 0.125 round over. Let's click OK to fix that. And we're going to apply that. Click OK. And now we have just added 2 new tools to our tool database. So under end mills, we added our 3/4 inch end mill in, and under our form tools, we added our white side 2050 in. So if it's a special profile, you have to draw that profile, the right half of it, to scale before you add it to the tool database. If it's a ball nose end mill, radius end mill, V bit, engraving bit, tapered ball nose drill, drag bit, you do not have to draw in those profiles. You can just add in the parameters to add that bit to your tool database. I hope this helps you with adding new tools to your tool database. That's it. It's very simple, pretty straightforward. If you are able to, you do want to back up your tool database in case of a computer crash or something, especially if you're adding a bunch of new custom tools over time. And we can either do that if we have internet. We can do that by uploading the copy of the tool database to our Vectric account online, or we can simply just export it and save it from here onto the somewhere on the computer in a safe place, or somewhere on a flash drive in a drawer or something like that, in case you ever need it in the event of the unforeseen, computer crash or something like that. All right, well, I hope this was helpful. My name is Laney Shaughnessy, and thank you for watching.